I like to go with facts because to me, facts matter. And before I'm going to make a judgment, I'm going to try and learn all the facts of what's going on. And I don't trust people by their words, so I look at video evidence. And the video evidence, we can clearly see that she is throwing a pot. Now, the only reason why I'm even bringing this up is because there's so many people that's saying she's not. So it's something that people are in a disagreement about that people need to understand. Yes, she is. It's very clear on the video that she is throwing a pot. It's also very clear that the pot had water in it, hot, scalding water. As you can see in this video where I slow it down, and you can see her in the corner where the steam rises up after she spills it, and you can see the water coming down here on the ground. Now, afterwards, he talks about it. He says, here's the water on the ground. The other cops come in. They see it. They've confirmed there is water on the ground. Now, these are facts, okay? These are facts of what is going on. But there are a lot of other facts that need to be taken into account when it comes to making a judgment on what you think is going on in this case.
I'm trying to get help, y'all, but...
What do you need help with?
Nothing. I just... Please, God. I don't know what to do.
Do with what?
Huh?
What do you need help with?
Nothing. I just wanted to see if I could help me.
What do you want help with?
Huh?
What do you want help with?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house, we checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards. We checked your front yard. We didn't see nobody. So nobody's out here.
You didn't see anybody?
Nope.
Fact number 1, she asked for help. Fact number 2, she ended up deceased. So that to me is a huge problem. She called them for help. And we all seen how it ended. At the end of the day, this is not a defense for him in any way, shape, or form, because I do not believe that he is innocent. In fact, he says something.
She set it up on purpose. So, this is what it is.
He thinks she set it up on purpose. Sometimes I feel like people project, though. He cannot know what she thinks. He can only know what he thinks. And here's some interesting facts. Did you notice that she had an armband on from a hospital? Did you know that rumor has it that she was at this hospital right down the street from her house? Now, did you know that Sean Grayson was about to be married? Did you know that his soon-to-be wife worked at the hospital that it is alleged that Miss Massey was at? That's a little weird. She just leaves the hospital where his wife works, and then all this goes down? Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big believer in coincidences. Now, according to this article, the Mrs. resides in Riverton and is a nurse at the Central County's Health Centers on Cook Street. Now, if you didn't know about the Central County's Health Centers, their mission is to provide high-quality, affordable, non-discriminatory, and accessible primary medical and dental care that meets the personalized needs of the underserved people of Central Illinois. It's also a fact that he mentions in not one moment, but 2 different places when he goes out to the car after everything happens, if she had a 1096 previously, which is mental health care issues. And he also asked her when he arrived there if she was feeling okay mentally, indicating that he knew that she had a mental health crisis possibility going on.
Do we have any call history with her being 1096?
And let's review what that 1096 means. Well, for some people, they're talking about somebody with a mental health issue.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Doing all right mentally?
Yes.
Sure?
Medicine.
All right.
So he sees the wristband on her arm. He knows she's been at the hospital. He's asking her questions, And he's alluding to this idea that he thinks that she might be having some sort of mental breakdown, mental something going on, right? Which when somebody's in a state like that, like professionals will tell you, that's the last thing you say to somebody in a state like that. And when she starts going into her religious, I rebuke you, he could have walked away. He could have stepped back. He was fact in a whole different room when she said that, in a whole different room. So she would have to throw that water over the counter to hit him with it, which would have been a reach. And he could have easily backed up like his partner did and got himself to a safe area, because it's not comparable to what he did at all. And his excessive use of force was unwarranted, period. But instead of walking away and diffusing the situation and seeking help from somebody who was more qualified to deal with a mental health crisis, he aggressively moved towards her. Now, fact, he was twice her size, cowering over her. There is a very good chance that she felt threatened, intimidated, and scared, especially after he threatens to in her face, okay? Then he tells her to put down the pot. Fact, she puts it down. It was down. She wasn't touching it. She said, okay, and she put her hands up. Empty hands were up, and he still threateningly approached her, weapon in hand. And it wasn't until he came around the corner into that room and approached her that in defense, she picked up that pot and threw it at him. And I do believe that was in defense. I believe that she was terrified in that moment, that she thought he was a demon coming at her, and she was trying to protect herself in whatever way she knew possible. But here's where I have a real big problem.
Milburn spoke live on CBS Mornings. He says he did not initially know the deputies were involved in the shooting.
Thank God for the body camera footage. It's probably the most horrible and heart-wrenching thing that we've ever seen in our lives. But if it were not for the body cam footage, we would not have known that this occurred.
He also spoke about Massey's 2 teenage children.
They're having a very hard time.
Why did the police try and tell the family that it was an unaliving of her own doing?
Police radio traffic I obtained from the night of Sonya Massey's murder shows that someone on scene that night, what sounds like a deputy, saying that her wound was, quote, self-inflicted. Listen here.
Just confirm self-inflicted. Sure enough. Have you got it update? I didn't. Self-inflicted. Thank you.
Now, this is in line with what the family says was an attempted cover-up, because on the night of her death, family was told by deputies at the hospital that Sonya's wound was self-inflicted, that she had killed herself, or that maybe an intruder had actually killed her. But at no point was the family told that a deputy was responsible for killing Sonya Massey.
That to me is extremely troubling, especially when you couple it with the fact that nobody in the media is talking about the fact that Sonya had an armband on from the hospital, and that Mr. Deputy's wife works there at the hospital right down the street from her house. So there's pieces and parts to this case that we still don't have answers to. And sad thing is, if it wasn't for the protests that took place, Sonya's father and her freaking children would have never gotten the truth from the police. They may have never gotten the truth. My heart goes out to this family and to her friends and to anybody that's affected by what happened. In no way am I defending what happened or defending this man and his actions. I think he was wrong 1,000% and should be held accountable. I think there needs to be changes made with their training so that they can better handle these situations. I believe that her parents and her family and her children deserve the truth. But in order to get the truth, we have to know the truth. And I think it's important that we understand where she was at, what she did, and what her actions were. And that we are loud when we say that does not justify his actions. That does not justify his actions.